Okay, so it seems like we have a pretty shock announcement, and this month just doesn't end. You know, obviously I talked about stuff going on with Cinder, then we also had the graduation of Matara, and we've also had, Goro. Now we've got even more stuff coming from NIJISANJI. Now, as you know, NIJISANJI hasn't been the best of the past couple of years. They've been in a lot of drama, and well, it seems like another one of their members has graduated, but this is slightly different and people are very, very confused. Now it says, graduation announcement. We regret to inform you that NIJISANJI Ian Liver Ike Eveland will be graduating today on the 30th of April 2025 JST. We hope for your understanding and thank you for your continued support of NIJISANJI and NIJISANJI Ian. Now, here is the announcement. They essentially say that, thank you for your continued support of them, and that they're announcing it to be the 30th of April. Now, if you don't know, the date right now is the 30th of April, meaning that there's no, week or 2 week long kind of, period. A lot of VTubers do tend to do that. Obviously, we saw that with Matara and stuff like that. They give them, a week or two to kind of do some live streams, maybe collab with a couple of creators, stuff like that, and then eventually, they have their final live stream, and usually it gets pretty sad. But this one, he's just gone. He's like, all right, peace. I'm gone. See ya. And I don't really know what has caused this. Not very many people know what has caused this at all. But obviously they say since his debut in December 2021, as part of the first all-male unit in NIJISANJI EN, he has surprised us all time and time again with the range between his calm demeanor and his powerful singing. We cannot thank him enough for his hard work and achievements as NIJISANJI EN Liver in these past 3 years, and sincerely wish him the best as he moves on with his next steps in life. To our fans and everyone involved, we understand how saddening the news of Ike's graduation is, but we'd like to thank you all for the support and hope you'll continue cheering on NIJISANJI EN going forwards. As of today, 30th of April 2025, Ike Eveland will cease all of his live activities. For further details regarding his graduation, please refer to the paragraph below. Graduation date today, social media public till today, fan letters accepted until the 30th of May. So they've allowed a little time for fan letters to go in, but everything else is gone. And as you can see, looking at his YouTube here, 957,000 subscribers, gone. Everything gone. Literally in a click. And it's really weird, Obviously, as I said, usually people give it a lot of time and people are very confused. We got Merryweather here saying, I hate April. Faye saying, April, why? How is he graduating on the same day the post was made? Is he not getting a graduation stream? Something doesn't seem right here. This means he got fired, right? Since it's on the same day. How is that okay? You usually get 2 weeks notice, which I think is what a lot of people are pointing at the fact that maybe he did get fired and this is NIJISANJI just kind of cutting him off, which is pretty horrible if that is the case, because, obviously a lot of people want that closure whenever it comes to that week period. Now, obviously, yeah, even more saying monthly mandatory NIJISANJI graduation. So essentially people are not very happy with this at all, and they're suspecting something is a little bit in foul play. Now Kuro actually responded to this on his alt account. If you don't know, Kuro, a member of VShojo, I think he's the only member male member of VShojo, essentially on his alt account was talking about it, said, yeah, this is why I said this month wasn't over yet, in kind of referring to everything that's been going on this month with Cinder and all of the other kind of VTuber stuff that's been going on in the community. They said, honestly, it's a blessing and a curse knowing in advance about this stuff. Honestly, the sweetest guy I know, and hugging him in Japan after long talks about this type of thing is a pure cool memory for me. As someone who relates a lot to how he told me he felt, I honestly just hope everyone allows him to take a new step in his life with a positive stride and get some well-deserved rest from public away. If he ever returned, I know everyone would love it, but it's not needed. What is needed is time to relax and enjoy life, reset his mental and such. Honestly, it's hard for me to keep contact with people, but this guy is one of the only ones that actually goes out of his way to check up on me. I hope I did enough for him too. Either way, that's all for me. So again, obviously Kuro and Ike have a pretty close relationship, and well, this message here makes it seem like maybe it's not a firing, because obviously many people were kind of hinting at the fact that it could be a firing, something like that. But honestly, after seeing Kuro's message, it feels like maybe this is like a mental thing, and that maybe he just couldn't handle it anymore. Because obviously there is the added pressure of becoming, a VTuber and things, and it, it's known that it can cause a little bit of mental stress on people. Some people can handle it, some people can't, and that's okay. And I think, from the perspective that Kuro's going, is like, hey, he just needs a rest, and maybe it was partially his decision to leave as well. But they don't really give us a clue on it, because with the Matara stuff that we saw, they gave us a little bit of a clue of how this happened, because Matara even mentioned on stream the way that they worded it was actually agreed between the two. Whereas this one, they just say graduating, which makes it obviously a little bit more, I guess, up in arms and up in the air about, you know, what actually happened here. Because, yeah, as I said, with Matara's one, they said, like, hey, V Shoujo made the decision to let her go. Whereas with NIJISANJI, of course, you know, being the scummy company they aren't going to let us know how this happened. They aren't going to let us know what actually, you know, has gone on with Ike, whether it was his decision, whether it was NIJISANJI's decision, whether it was a joint decision. Like, what kind of factors are actually in play here? Because they want to, I can understand, like, protecting them and, like, keeping them, you know, a little bit private. But at the same time, they just don't want to cause any more bad PR for the company if there is even any possibility of them getting even worse. Because let's be real, NIJISANJI has not been doing good for a long time and is getting to a point where it's pretty ridiculous. And, you know, a lot of people were saying as well that NIJISANJI are massively losing a lot of, you know, people. You know, they're losing a lot of VTuber and talent, which obviously is a shame. And I feel like, yeah, they've just lost another one who's a big part. I think there's also some other replies as well from some other VTubers part of the same kind of group in the same generation as him, pretty much saying they had no clue that this was going on. They had zero clue. They didn't talk about it before. It was pretty much completely out of the blue. So obviously, you know, those guys are probably feeling quite bad at the moment as well. So definitely go show them some support because, again, I feel like, you know, it's pretty bad. Obviously, you know, I know it's hard to kind of support NIJISANJI stuff at the moment though. So I do understand if not. But, you know, I do feel like this has been totally out of the blue. And I'm pretty sure everyone has just been kind of left, like, to not really know what's going on. And I feel like that's just a terrible way of kind of bringing this out. You know, I feel like, you know, they should have at least had a week. Maybe, you know, this could have all been as per Ike's request. I feel like, you know, even NIJISANJI would probably prefer the fact that he just goes, like, straight away. And maybe it was Ike's decision to, you know, step away and just, like, go from the get-go. But it is disappointing that the social media accounts were taken down on the same day as well, which makes me a little bit skeptical about what has actually happened here. Because obviously, you know, there's one thing just not having a graduation stream and not doing anything, but usually, you know, you'd leave up a channel for a little bit to let the, you know, fans enjoy the content. But why have they taken it down so quickly and so soon and so immediately straight after the graduation announcement? I mean, that's a question that's going to have to be answered in the next coming days, and I'll definitely keep you guys up to date with what is going on with this kind of stuff because it is a trending situation. Okay, so just wait a minute because Ike actually put out a reply as well to this whole thing saying, "Hey everyone, I want to sincerely thank you all for your patience and understanding during my prolonged absence. I deeply apologize for any confusion or inconvenience it may have caused. It's time I take full responsibility for my impact my numerous absences have had. Over the years, I've faced a number of personal challenges, many of which I've failed to address properly or communicate openly. Mental health has been a significant factor, but I also recognize that I did not fulfill my duties as a NIJISANJI EL liver. I regret not stepping forward sooner. My lack of action and transparency affected not only my work, but also the trust placed in me. And for that, I am truly sorry. It has become clear to me that the responsibilities of this role exceed what I can handle. This experience has been a crucial reminder that mental health must be prioritized and should never be used as a justification for avoiding accountability. After a great deal of reflection, I've made the difficult decision to step away from the online space for good. I apologize for any difficulties this may create. Please know this is something I've thought about for a long time and the decision wasn't made lightly. Though this means goodbye, I will always value the bond we've built. Thank you for understanding as I take this time to focus on myself and make the necessary changes to be better moving forwards. I may be stepping away, but I want you to know that each of you hold a special place in my heart. The time we spent together and the conversations we've had will never be forgotten. Even as we move forward on our own journeys, I will always cherish the moments we've shared. Thank you to everyone who's sat down and stream. Thank you for everyone in NIJISANJI for the kindness and grace they've shown me over the years. And thank you to TCB Sensei for letting me have an amazing mama. I feel so lucky to be a part of this little family. And of course, thank you to the fans for your support. We've achieved multiple dreams together, and I truly feel like I can never repay you guys for the memories I now hold. Whether it's morning, day, evening, or night, I hope that you all have a wonderful time, and I hope that you can do one thing for me now on. Please be kind to yourself and take care. I truly love being your lover list, Ike Eveland. So again, yeah, like obviously there's a lot of hearts and stuff. Shoto saying, I know we haven't talked in a while, but I truly hope that you find joy and solace wherever you weave your stories and adventures next. You know, Merryweather also getting involved there. And honestly, it's just kind of sad. Now, obviously, it does feel like a lot of this reply, you know, they're talking about mental health and stuff like that. You know, that does seem to be a big factor in why he is left and why, you know, he is gone. But it's just like really weird because obviously it seems like he's blaming a lot of the mental health stuff as to, you know, it can't be, you know, they said, you know, it can't be like something that can affect him. It can't be something that can kind of clear him of responsibilities or stuff like that. But again, I feel like it's totally fine to have like a little couple mental, you know, hiccups, but obviously it feels like NIJISANJI just don't really appreciate that due to the fact that, you know, they are a pretty scummy company, and I feel like this was partially caused by pressure from NIJISANJI. So it seems like we have a little bit of an answer of what is going on, but yeah, that is what Ike had to say about it as well. As I said, this month isn't over yet, you know, this month is not over, and, you know, I don't really know, you know, I think, what, we've got like 1 day left, I think, of this month. I really hope there's not anything else coming out in that 1 day, but hey, you know, maybe the future months and even the future year for VTubers might get a little bit rocky with a lot of the stuff that we're seeing at the moment. But yeah, a lot of people are kind of fed up at the moment with what is going on with, you know, just the overall VTubing space, and they don't want anything else bad to happen, but it just keeps on happening, unfortunately. So yeah, I'll keep you guys up to date if there's any other news coming from either Ike themselves, from NIJISANJI, or literally anybody else who has any kind of information on this, because again, it is all kind of up in the air about why this has happened in the first place and whose decision was this actually to happen. Because again, I don't think people have a problem with Ike leaving if, you know, it was due to a very just reason, and if it was due to, you know, Ike's decision to leave. But, you know, a lot of people are speculating that that might not be the case. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think that Ike was the one to leave? Do you think that maybe it was NIJISANJI's fault? Let me know. And also, you know, leave a like and subscribe if you guys do enjoy this video. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.